TikTok, time to rock. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon to everyone who's watching from all over the world. It's your friendly neighborhood philosopher here, D. Wood. And with me now, I've got the man who disappeared for many, many weeks. Many, many weeks. People thought he was gone. People thought he converted to Judaism. And yet here he is. And what? What are you laughing at?
I heard that while I was gone, and I thought, what the heck is happening?
A bunch of people are saying that he converted to Judaism.
I mean, what even gave people the idea? I don't even know. Because I was in Israel. What?
Yeah, went to Israel, man. Obviously, that's where you go to convert to Judaism. What the heck?
Yeah, that's what happens when you go to Israel. You become a Jew.
Hey, look at this. Zane counted. He said 11 minutes. Not bad. Huh. This is a weird situation where I had to delay for half an hour because I knew I'd be late. And then AP was here on time, but then disappeared for 10 minutes.
I had to go pee, and it took me like 10 minutes.
IP too. Hey, yeah. So my wife is out of town until Saturday, and then so I had to do the stuff that she normally does today. And then I find out all the crap she has to do during the day that I don't pay any attention to. So anyway, I took my son to jujitsu after he's out of school, and I do that like probably half the time. I take him to jujitsu and stuff, but afterwards I had to take him to this meeting. It's a meeting for kids who've had a sibling who died. Right? To help them process things and grieve properly and so on. But it's funny because I was there just thinking like, what? Come on, the kid's fine, man. What the heck? What the heck? He went to the funeral. It's over. It's over. Why you got to still keep talking about this stuff? Apparently, these things can affect kids long term. And you don't even see it till it manifests itself later in life as some sort of issue or something like that. But I'm still... Like, I'm aware of that, but I'm still sitting there thinking, come on, kid's fine, man. Kid's fine. And I'm thinking, but then I thought, oh, that's why he really needs this meeting. Cause I'm like terrible. I'm terrible at anything. I'm terrible at any of this or even comprehending that there's an issue to be dealt with. So kudos to my wife for realizing that Kepler would be better processing things with a group and some professionals than with D. Wood. So anyway, that's what I was at. But I had to sit through this thing, and they gave us chicken nuggets and mac and cheese. So that was funny. Sitting there eating chicken nuggets and mac and cheese in there. Cool stuff. Hey, look. This guy sounds like a psycho. That's true. Hey, man. Have you heard of this Mom Donnie guy?
I heard of your Mom Donnie.
Mom Donnie.
We're going to talk about your Mom Donnie.
Your Mom Donnie's so commie. Your Mom Donnie's so commie. He wants to seize the means of production. Oh, snap. Hey, what's this? Did this happen? This happened a while back. Wait. Thoughts on Kanye apologizing to Jews? I remember he had a brief change a couple months ago where he's like, I'm not going to go after the Jews so much. Did something new happen?
Yeah, there's a new thing. A rabbi actually shared it. So Kanye went to this rabbi called Rabbi something Pinto, and
it's Rabbi Talmudstein,
and had asks him for forgiveness and says, "Please forgive me for the things that I have said about Jews and all that." So the rabbi posted it. It's just him being like, forgive me. I haven't watched the video really. I just saw a little moment of it, but that's basically it. But the thing is, it's now on the media. It's now on the news. People are sharing it. Kanye apologizes to rabbi in heartfelt moment and all that. But the thing is, that happened before.
Oh yeah, and by the way, that's why we tend to Well, at least but I'm assuming you too, can tend to cut Kanye more slack than we cut other people. It's like we understand that he has these wild swings back and forth, and that if you catch him at a good time, he'll be good. If you catch him at a bad time, he can be absolutely terrible. But the thing is, it seems to be getting worse as he gets older. I don't know if that's a feature of that disorder, if that's just him or something like that. But yeah,
I think it's just off his medications. That's what's going on.
And yeah, so believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, people can have psychological problems that cause them to act impulsively and and then they realize how dumb it was later. Interesting stuff. Oh, but that is cool. That is cool. It would be good just to see him like. You'd like to know what the real Kanye is, right? When you see people like these wild swings back and forth between Hitler and then I'm sorry, guys, I'm sorry. It's like, okay, will the real Kanye please step up and make us the dopest song ever?
And it's kind of it's you know, it's not a joke. It's kind of problematic when the guy sells Nazi shirts with the
it doesn't help.
Cross. And then it's like, hey, I apologize. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry.
And that's a bit much to be apologizing for so briefly, you know.
So how are I don't know. Apparently this just happened, so not a lot to go on. But how are Jews reacting? Is it, wow, thank you, we appreciate the apology, or is it, shut up, we don't believe you, and you're gonna just freak out on us like 2 weeks from now anyway?
I think from what I have seen, Jews are usually not buying it. That's what I see. I don't know. Yeah,
see, I would buy that he's sincere right now. I would just not think that it's going to last. And so it's like, why am I going to pay too much attention to you? Kanye, you want to impress us? Be not insane for like 6 months. Just like 6 months. I'm not even saying like 10 years or something like that. Just like 6 months. Be not insane. That'd be awesome. Let's see.
So there's one important comment here. So Evil Larry David says, AP, I need your opinion on Israeli shawarma. So shawarma is incredible in Israel, but it is a little bit complex. The situation is a little bit complex.
Hang on. Are you talking about Israelis cooking this or Arabs cooking it in Israel?
That is the question, because it gets really, really complex. Outside of Israel, I have had shawarma. It wasn't really good. You know, it wasn't really that great.
That's stupid. I've never had bad shawarma in my life. Shawarma's always
Israel.
Awesome.
In Israel, shawarma is absolutely fantastic. In fact, I would eat it every day, multiple times, if it wasn't a very weird and strange thing to do. If it wasn't a horrible diet,
I could go like 3 or 4 times a week.
Yeah, but I thought at first that it is Arabs inside Israel that just make very good shawarma. But then, you know, we went to that one Jewish guy's place, and that was like that shawarma was absolutely fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. So I don't know, but I think in general I have nothing but good things to say about shawarma in Israel. The nuances and all that need to be further discussed. I think that somebody should write a book about this.
Did we really need a 10-minute monologue? You just say, yeah, it was good. That was it. Boom.
No, we need to talk about it further. We should make a live stream about that.
Shawarma. You know, it's funny. I have if you left me to myself and I didn't have to like suffer the consequences from completely unhealthy eating, I have like the cheapest tastes imaginable. Ramen noodles, I can eat that every day, 2 to 3 meals a day. Don't care. I'll put some stuff in it. I'll add some stuff to it. Learn that. You learn that when you're poor. You learn how to make some awesome stuff out of ramen noodles. Ramen noodles, peanut butter sandwiches. Toss a banana on that peanut butter sandwich. Oh man, that's awesome. Hot dogs, bologna. Then you find out that like you grow up eating all this stuff all day, every day, and then you find out in your, towards the end of your 20s that it's not a healthy way of living. Let's
It's
see.
very humble of you. Very, 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 very nice. I only eat the most expensive things. I always look for the most expensive stuff that I can find. If I see food that costs average, that has average cost, I need to find an app or something where I can find the most
Make it more
expensive
expensive.
food in town
Mm-hmm.
and order that and eat it. And sometimes not eat it, just look at it. That's how I live. Totally.
Beast. A lot of Democrats consider Mamdani to be moderate. What? That being the case, our republic is heading to a very dark place. I'm concerned for our future. Well, this is definitely not going to go well for New York. What you can hope is New York will be a beacon of the terrible effects of electing an Islamist communist.
A beacon
mayor.
or a bacon?
A bacon. New York City about to outlaw interest. Ironic. That would be funny. D-Wood, did you see my email about what 50 Cent said about it? Yes, but I saw your email, but I didn't check it out yet. But I've seen that 50 Cent is not a fan of Mamdani and communism. Smart. Hello, my lovely, miss you both, but AP more. AP, did you get to go south and north of Israel, or did you just say only in the center? By the way, Sam blessed me too once. I just asked a question to learn about Christianity. Listen here, you Jew scum! I'll tell you, and I'll talk about your mother.
It was probably like this. Ida goes in and is like, I have a question about this thing about Christianity. And the response is, Ida, do you want me to block you? Do you want me to block you, you spiritual bastard, you spiritual
whore, you slut,
son of Satan,
you son of Satan, synagogue of Satan.
Anyway,
so did you stay in the center? Or did you go around?
No, I was mostly in Tel Aviv. I did plan this time to act on actually going to Haifa and also Nazareth, but I couldn't do it, despite most of my plan working out. That part of the plan did not work out. I did go to Jerusalem, spent most of the time in Tel Aviv, some of the time in Jerusalem. That's basically what it was.
Beast. Hey, you were over there the same time as my aunt.
Who's your aunt?
My mom's sister. But no, it was cool. I was telling her how cool Israel is, and I was telling her like how awesome it is to like actually visit a place. And now when you're reading the Bible and it's Jesus went over here, it's like you're picturing it in your head because you've been there, like Mount of Olives, Garden of Gethsemane, the Temple Mount, Capernaum, all that stuff. But yep. Anyway, she was there the same time you were there. You didn't even say hi. What a terror! Oh, you know what's funny? She said she messaged me. She said I was there. She said I was hanging out with I was there with a bunch of Jews, and I said, hey, you know David Wood? The guy goes, yeah, we watch him all the time. And then everyone is coming up to her going, wait, you know David Wood? You know? Yeah, I'm his aunt. So that was cool.
It's kind of funny because that's where people recognize me. That's where people recognize you, especially in Jerusalem. It's one of those places, London and Jerusalem, apparently.
Yep. Oh, I also found out California. I was surprised. Everywhere I went to In-N-Out. Hey, David Wood. Went to another restaurant. Hey, David Wood. Hey, look, we got someone here. I do not know why. Dude,
he came in to pee.
Do you have thoughts? Do you have thoughts on Mamdani that we need to be aware of?
Oh, I got all sorts of thoughts. I don't know. I don't think he's I think he's a huge threat, but I think he's probably just a radical socialist that's probably going to end up pissing off the Muslims.
That's yeah. You know? I agree too. And you wonder, like, I mean, how could these guys even be? We know the answer, but it's like, how could these guys be taking this guy seriously when he's like the biggest, most pro LGBTQ everything guy, every policy that Muslims in theory should have massive problems with, and yet somehow don't. So they seem to all understand, like, basically the same pattern as the Ayatollah in Iran, that if you want to take over, Muslims unite with leftists to tear down a common enemy, and then destroy and behead the leftists is what happened in Iran. But leftists also think like that. They just think they'll win. And I have to say, as far as like a place like New York City, like socialism would take hold much more quickly than something like Sharia. There, you'd be way down the road. You'd be way down the road for something like Sharia.
Yeah. Isn't he like a Shia Muslim?
Yeah,
first of all,
12 or Shia. Yeah, that's what the
so,
Ayatollahs are. Yeah.
Yeah, but Sunni, I'm surprised like the Sunnis are supporting him, like, because I thought they hated each other.
Look at that. IP is jumping in, immediately turns into Sam Shimon like, oh, aren't you a Shia prostitute?
What is the product of muta? Yeah. So, but dude, I mean, seriously, like the issue, it's not so much New York. And me and AP talked about this, that Western, the United States is pretty resilient in that you can do a lot of damage and we can still survive and like undo the damage over time and stuff. Some damage is like more lasting. Like if a bunch of the richest people in New York move to Florida, as they're doing, or to Texas as they're doing, they're already doing it. It's just a question of how much. If a bunch of those guys pack up and leave, then what do you have to do? You have to, your plan was to tax them more. But if a bunch of them leave, now the ones that stay, you have to tax them even more to cover the stuff that you wanted these guys to cover. And then so more are going to leave. And, by the time you elect a new mayor, it's like, oh, guys, come back. We elected a new mayor. It's like, we don't trust you. You got what? We're going to go set up a long-term, lifelong business in a place that on the drop of a dime will say, hey, let's get a communist and put him in power. No, not interested. So you can get rid of people and lose people that you're not going to get back. And so that's New York. And so New York looks like it's on a very dangerous path. The concern is like, if New Yorkers fell for this, like, who's going to be immune to this? This idea of, let's get some young go-getter with a young face to go around and get all the college students riled up for him, even though it's stupid, insane policies that never work. The young people don't know. And a bunch of the old people have been brainwashed into thinking that in order to atone for the sins of colonialism, they need to vote this guy in and so on. It's like, that seems like that could work in a lot of other places. And so if they're all taking this as, wow, this is how we can take over an entire city. They've been doing it in the UK and in other places. Mm-hmm. But now it's going to be, hey, this works in the United States of America. Let's do this everywhere. Fun times, man.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be everywhere. We know, like, New York's a huge immigrant city. So, like, all the people that are elected him, it's mostly people that are immigrants. I mean, native New Yorkers, people that were born there, voted against him in that demographic. So, this is the problem when... Yep, not young people. It's fair. But, I mean, like, still, it's a lot of that. This is what happens when you do mass migration unmitigated. You bring in a lot of people, they start changing the culture. I'm not against immigration, but at mass immigration where you just bring in all these people, you're going to expect them to change the culture, and they're going to elect a socialist who's going to ruin the city. But I mean, this is another one of those historical learning phases, I guess they got to go through, where they have to learn that, oh yeah, this didn't work. Gee, I wonder why. I mean, anytime socialism is tried, it fails. It always fails. Venezuela, Cuba, Laos, Vietnam. I mean, you just go over the examples. It's always leads to authoritarianism, poverty, big separation between the elites and the poor. It just simply doesn't work. And over again.
This time it's different.
Look at this guy sounding like a filthy capitalist.
This time it's different, man. This time it's different.
Oh, he's got a point. Maybe it just hasn't been done correctly, IP. And so
this time is going to work, man.
If you want to try something that has failed every time it's been implemented and does nothing but destroy everything, what better place to try it than the richest city on earth? That's a good place to try out this awesome plan and see if it completely destroys the richest place on earth. So in your face. Hey, is this true? Is this true, IP? Yes, it says IP and God Logic found the Islamic Trinity, Allah, Umar, and the Holy Goat.
We sure did. So obviously Allah is there. But then, the Quran challenges people to bring a verse like it. But what is it? It's Sahih al-Bukhari, 402 and 4483 says that Umar brought verses like the Quran. So, wow, that's odd. He's like Allah. He can reveal the Quran. And so he brought something like the Quran. He met Allah's challenge. And so when Surah 19 is referring to Allah, talking about his Lord who allows him to descend from the heavens, I believe it's in Surah 1961 to like 64. It's right in there. So we were like, well, that has to be Umar, because Umar is the only one who could bring something like the Quran. And then the holy goat, like you remember you brought up that verse about the sheep eating those. Well, the Muslim cowboy was like, well, that's just Allah abrogating his words, as he said when he replied to you on X. Yeah. So obviously the goat has the power of Allah to abrogate the Quran. So here you go. You have Allah, Umar, and the holy goat. It's the Trinity of Islam. There we have it all. It's all right there.
That's beautiful, man. Wow.
It is.
It's powerful stuff. Have you ever seen Kanye and Sam in the same room? That would be funny if one's just like a photographic negative of the other. It was a meeting for kids who had a sibling who died. That was funny. David Wood, 2025. How can Mike Winger even compete? Did I say it was funny? That's messed up if I said that.
You said that.
Read Karl Marx and the Satanic Roots of Communism. No, it's better to remain in complete ignorance of these things, Apologia Center.
Hey, what is this, man?
What?
Nothing. Continue.
Okay. Thank you.
How's communism satanic? They're going to give everybody free stuff.
Hey, bros,
make a bunch of money.
I know that it's crazy. It's like who falls for... If someone comes up to me and says, "Hey, I want to give you a bunch of free stuff," I'll be like, okay. What's the scheme here? Apparently, most people are like, what? He's going to take everyone else's stuff and give it to me? Oh yeah, I'm going to vote for you.
No, not me. If somebody comes to me and is like, "Hey, I want to change things up. I want to give you a bunch of free stuff," I'll be like, "Oh, that's nice. That's cool. Yeah, yeah, sure, man. Wow."
Hey, bros, off topic, but decided to watch Always Sunny because D. Wood talks about it every stream. Terrible, terrible people, man. Zero redeeming qualities between them. Lol, give me The Office and Parks and Rec. That's what's funny. They're all terrible people, right? It's not like the one terrible character.
It's the best show in existence. The best comedy show ever.
It is. The best shawarma I had was in Gaza City. I believe you. They know how to throw down there. Question, have you noticed an uprise with anger toward people that support... Yeah. Toward people that support Israel. I was wondering if you agree that anti-Israel narrative has increased. Really? Yes, we agree that anti-Israel narrative has increased. And if yes, why?
I haven't noticed that.
Yeah, here's what you have, Deb. Here's what you have. You always have some people who hate Jews, and some of them always say it and don't care, but others have to keep that sort of bottled up until you have something like a war break out. And then all of a sudden, hey, look at these Zionists. And first it'll be just Zionists. No, I'm only talking about the Zionists. It's just the Zionists. And then slowly they'll transition to, oh yes, the Jews. You see the Jews are always like this. But there's a war going on, so there's stuff for them to point out. Look at all these videos. Look at these videos. Look at all this bad stuff, and you see, this is what Jews do. Look at the Talmud. Look at the Talmud. You see, this is Jews, and it can spread pretty rapidly. So that's why.
What they even do nowadays is just to just say Zionist, but they clearly are talking about Jews. It's like they clearly talk about Jews. So what you see there is just Jews doing stuff, and they say, "Look, this is what Zionists do." It's just so right out there. They're using it interchangeably by now. It's incredible, man.
Yeah, and it gets
that's true. Yeah,
the anti-Israel narrative has increased. Here's the thing: if a Jew does something, yeah, you can condemn it in a heartbeat. If there's a messed up passage in the Talmud, say, hey, that's a messed up thing that rabbi said, and so on. But for some reason, when things start off, anything that any Jew has ever done or anything any Jew has ever said becomes fair game to say, this is the Jews. That's my objection to all the anti-Jewish stuff. It's you'll take something this person did or that person did or this person said or that person said, and you keep saying the Jews. And when I object, when I say, hey, stop, no, that's not true. Or as AP did, no, it's not true that if a Christian can't walk down the street in Israel without getting spit on and so on. When you say that, they go, oh, why are you licking Israel's balls? He must have been paid $7,000 to say that. Oh, my goodness. He's been compromised. Now I need to go back and worship Nick Fuentes. And it's like, do you not realize how freaking pathetic you sound? Anyway.
Right. By the way, David, his name is now Burrito Mussolini.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. That's classic. Classic Burrito Mussolini. AP and Dr. Wood, the question my then 10-year-old granddaughter wanted an answer for from Sam Shamoon was, who was more important, Jesus or Judas? Her reasoning, no Judas, no crucifixion, no Christianity. Please don't call her names. What happened? Was this a lady yesterday who said that Sam started calling her daughter names or something?
Yes. Her the 10-year-old girl asked the question, and Sam in response called her a whore.
This is I think this can be answered pretty easily. Obviously, Judas was not necessary. Trying to find the verse. It's somewhere in John where Jesus is praying. I think it's in the farewell discourse where he is praying for Peter. He's praying that he's like, I have not lost one of you except like the son except he refers to Judas so that the scriptures would be fulfilled. So Jesus was praying for Peter because Satan, there's a place in the Gospels where Satan is like, he wants to tempt and get control of Peter to do evil, and Jesus prays to prevent that from happening. So it could have been anyone to fulfill the scriptures. Judas had basically made his decisions of who he was going to be, and so God just simply used him in that instance.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to point out, and I mean, Judas just said, oh, he's over here. He gave them a location. They had already decided what they were going to do with him. So it was kind of a matter of time before someone said he's over here.
He shared location.
Yeah, he basically just shared a location. And so, I mean, there were more disciples beyond the 12, as the book of Acts shows us. So, no, Judas was not necessary. I mean, he made his decision. He was part of the plan. And God let him go follow his evil desires as he lets many people do. And that's just part of the free will that we have in this life.
Yeah.
So see how you can answer this question without calling a 10-year-old girl a whore.
Yeah. So, long story short, the answer to your question is Jesus is more important. With that said, that's a deep, interesting question coming from a 10-year-old.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to call 10-year-olds whores or, what Muslims do, wives. Let's not do that.
Hey, look at this. Sam called my mother a whore because I called him out for insulting people. Here we had on the Tucker comment on the Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes teaming up. I haven't watched it yet. I brought it up. I told AP we should go through that, and he said, "No, I'm not interested in that dumb discussion at all." So,
the thing is, I'm currently at a very peaceful place in my life. These days, I feel very very calm and good and peaceful and all that. And I know that if I watch a video of Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes, one of the worst people around and one of the people around, I'm gonna get angry. So I don't want to do it.
We don't want angry AP.
I didn't see the Tucker Carlson interview, but I saw him on PBD, and PBD was like, that was a pretty okay interview. I'd say I wish that Patrick would have pushed him in some ways, but like they played clips of Nick basically admitting that he thinks race mixing is a sin or degenerate.
I also wish he pushed him.
Yeah, what I heard, and someone confirmed this in the chat. There's the Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes interview is like, Tucker's like, well, why does everyone hate you? You're just a young boy that loves Jesus. And Nick was like, yeah, I'm just a boy that loves Jesus and wants to get along. And then Tucker would have been like, yeah, and by the way, the Jews are evil, aren't they? And they were like, yeah, the Jews are evil. I'm told that's basically the interview, is that basically Tucker just said, you're such a good young strapping boy. I don't know why anyone hates you. And we both hate the Jews. Isn't that right? Is that basically what it was like? Because I haven't watched it, but that's what people told me.
I haven't watched it either. I would watch it live, which apparently I'm not allowed to do because AP's shielding his feelings from being negatively influenced by Tucker Carlson. On Tim Pool Show, a guy said, only thing he is sure is Zohran is gay. Possible. Would not be surprising. How long before Mamdani builds walls to keep New York Cityers in? Now, that would be awesome because that would lead right into Escape from New York with Snake Plissken having to do a rescue mission and bring all those rich people out. All the rich Jews should abandon New York. Yeah, imagine being rich and Jewish in that place now and having the next 4 years to look forward to. Kufar spent like a week in juvie, and now he thinks he's a psychiatrist. Sam has a disorder. Kanye has a disorder. Prophet Muhammad too. Dr. D. Wood, everyone. Yeah, there are a lot of disorders going around. That's true.
Disorder.
Iffy about Zohran. Has he had his al-Zut shots? Well, he's going to want some al-Zut shots if he wants to keep his strength going for 4 years. Sam should go to New York City. In a few years, he'll lose weight. Oh, because there won't be any food. It's messed up. What do you think of Dia Calzone? Yummy. I always wanted to move back to New York City, but maybe the Lord will call me to be a missionary to the Muslim nation of New York City instead. I do think Mamdani will have a difficult time implementing his commie ways. Yeah, there are... You can't just be mayor and think that you can do anything. So he knows that. You got to get other people working with you and stuff. So the big thing is just if the city makes it clear that they're heading in a socialist direction, that's gonna be bad for the city. Hi IP, I'm sorry. I know you were saying something clever, but my ADHD was focused on AP cleaning his chair and making a very serious face during that.
I know. I for some reason, I'm not sure how that happened, but I spilled my Red Bull all over myself in the chair, so I had to clean that. I'm sorry.
Well, I actually have I don't even think I talk about this, but I have like severe ADHD. I had like piles of papers everywhere. Can't get organized. I've actually cleaned my room to where it was clean twice since I've been out of prison. Twice.
And it gotta clean your room.
It did not last long. All sorts of problems. Back when I was in graduate school, they sent me to they have like a psychiatrist there on campus, a little counseling place in there and stuff like that. They're like, hey, you're massive ADHD. You got to go to a specialist. The specialist, once he found out like my past, he didn't say it like this, but the impression was along the lines of, we don't want to put anything into your, it's like, okay, you're a violent psychopath and now you're doing okay. We do not want to do anything to your brain that might trigger something. And we definitely do not want to help someone who could turn into a serial killer focus better. So it's kind of along those lines. Like, look, you may struggle with this, but we do not want to rock this boat if you're not being violent right now. And so just live with it, dude. Just live with it. This is an overreaction. He doesn't have the authority or will to do full socialism in New York City. Yeah, we grant that. That's not the problem. If he tries to arrest Netanyahu, it could help end sanctuary city policies, though. Too long to explain here. Yeah, again, that's not the issue. It's a vibe. Hey, we're going in a direction in this city where we're going after rich people and we want to take their stuff. That's very bad in a city that has the most millionaires of any city on the planet, and these are the guys you want to tax. Guess what? You're already taxing them, and you want to tax them. They pay a huge chunk of the taxes. If you make them feel like they're the enemy in your city, there are so many other cities that are just saying, come here, please, rich people, come here. Florida's doing it all over the place. They're bragging about it. Come here, come here. DeSantis is saying, come on, come down here. Texas is saying, come here, come here. Just joining in. So how does Apologist look like now, especially in New York City? How does Apologist look?
Maybe he meant Apologetics.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Apologetics is awesome.
No, this is fine. There's
a gold age
some good
right
apologists
now.
there. Yeah, well, there's a bunch of good apologists running around New York right now doing some good stuff. We met a couple while we were there, so should be fine. They're not.
Have y'all seen Myron? Have you all seen Myron on Steven Crowder's show talking about Islam trying to take over the West? Wait, did Myron go on Steven Crowder?
Yeah, he said something. He said something similar to the clips we reviewed, where he was ranting about Muslims, like complaining about the Adhan 5 times a day in Dearborn and all this some stuff.
Oh, I'm assuming AP would want to check that out. That sounds awesome. Economics. What's up?
He's running. He's scared. He left.
Economics 101. No such thing as a free lunch. Yep. Hey, free bus ride. No such thing. Where's the money really coming from? Did you know the Zionists built the Kaaba and drew the line in the sand, and they made Mo marry a 6-year-old and forced him to marry his son's wife? Yes. The Zionists did it. D. Wood, love you. God bless. Thank you. Thank you. Mike Winger is the kind of guy who already has his Christmas decorations up. Yep.
What a horrible person.
Even before Thanksgiving. Pfft. Sorry if this is a dumb question. I haven't heard a lot of Muslims say. I've heard a lot of Muslims say that they're against violence. Do they just not believe the violent things promoted in the Quran? Or how do they justify that? Well, it's going to depend on the Muslim. Some are just flat out lying, and some are sincere. And some people are just more peaceful by nature, and so they're inclined to reinterpret the Quran. And some people have been raised in a more peaceful country, more peaceful environment, and so on. And they interpret the Quran through that lens and so on. So yeah, it's going to depend on the person.
That's what
even when I debated Beck Lover, who's supposed to be a very peaceful, loving Muslim, wants to get along with Christians, I asked him, what about apostates of Islam? He defended the death penalty for apostates in Islam. So even the very peaceful Muslims will say, yeah, that's
Beck Lover, man.
Yeah.
Who's Beck Lover?
It's like Ed Lover, but he loves Beck.
He's a Muslim. I debated him when I went to Vegas on the Sean Michael Kelly podcast. And yeah, he got him to basically admit, in Islam, you have to kill apostates. And so I frankly just flat out said, like, look, how can we work? Because his whole thing was like, we as Christians and Muslims should work together. So I said,
same thing as the PBD podcast.
Yeah. It's like, how could we work together when your people want to kill people on my side because they used to be on your side? And he didn't have an answer for that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was the same thing on PBD where the point of his show was for Christians and Muslims to realize that we have so much in common and that we should be uniting and combating the radical left and so on. But it comes up in there that the two Muslims believe that the two Christians should both be executed, one for being an ex-Muslim and one for being a critic of Islam.
Dude, it's just their religious belief. What is your problem with it, man? Why can't you just let people have their religious beliefs and practice them as they wish? If they do believe that apostates should be executed, don't you believe in religious freedom? Let them exercise their religious freedom.
Why don't you answer the question? Oh, hey, AP, so for you to come visit Beersheba, I should pay you $7,000. I should have known.
Ida, if you wanted me to visit Beersheba, you could have just invited me and I would have come, honestly.
But he didn't because deep down, he doesn't really like you, AP. And I can't blame him.
I'll come for 7,000.
Ida is a she.
Dark humor is like food. Not everyone gets it. Joseph Stalin, probably. Why is AP's head bigger than D Wood and IP in the screen split? Yeah, because AP always changes his stuff and then makes his head like a giant
Look at
melon.
I'm tiny. You guys
are sorry, came in halfway, but what he's talking about doing, Massachusetts has already done, and they are doing just fine. Number of millionaires increased rather than dropped. Oh my goodness. You're talking about Massachusetts, and you're saying that's a good parallel to New York City. Okay, just catch us in a couple years, David, and tell us how well this has worked. So, just to clarify, David, and you can answer me.
Nice talking to you.
Massachusetts, just to be clear, Massachusetts legalized prostitution, legalized drug use, banned all guns. It did that? Because I must have missed that. I would find that very surprising. Oh, and emptied out most of the jails and prisons? Massachusetts did that? I did not know that. Hey, go ahead and comment, David Ryan. I want to hear. I did not know. I did
wait,
not know
wait, talking to yourself, man.
that he was doing that, man. All right,
I
David.
think that's going to be the biggest problem with Mamdani is the crime is going to get worse. I think if anything's going to happen to New York, I don't think he's going to get through a lot of his socialist policies, but the crime in New York will get worse because of the way he's going to run things.
They elected a monster because nobody wants to be America no more. They want Soviets. We're chopped liver. That's correct.
That's pretty good.
Hello, brothers. New Yorker here. Don't have much of a choice to leave. Any suggestions on what to do? Also, I noticed that a significant amount of our Jewish population supported him. That was shocking. A significant amount of the Jewish population is left.
Mm-hmm.
They're leftists.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. I mean, you just got to weather the storm. If you can't leave, you can't leave. It is what it is. God has placed you for their reason. Buckle up for the storm and get through it and just see how you can be used to help further God's kingdom there. I mean, that just is what it is. Nothing to do. Make sure you got a good job. Make sure you're able to feed your family. I mean, if things get so bad and you can't, you're going to have to leave. I mean, it sounds like at some point you may have to make a difficult decision whether to stay or to go. But I mean,
a little thing here to a little thing here to Maxim. So I noticed that you say that a significant amount of our Jewish population supported him. So this is why I think even as a Jew or even as somebody who is on the or who is with the Jews should not speak of the Jews in such a general sense, because although I think with Zohran Mamdani, it's actually the minority of Jews who voted for him. But still, when you talk about the Jewish population, especially in America, you're talking about a population that is mostly Reform Jewish and that is mostly leftist, that is mostly liberal, progressive, and all that. People who are not at all in alignment with the general Orthodox Jewish population and their wishes and their ideals. So most of the Jews in America will probably, not support you and your position when it comes to politics and all that. So it's kind of, you can't really talk about Jews and then include them when you actually talk about Jews in the Orthodox Jewish sense. And
Reformed Jews are basically atheists.
And I actually think, especially seeing these developments over the last months or so, I think that Jews, specifically Orthodox Jews who are conservatives, should be on the forefront and should start talking about the fact that so many of the leftist secularists, Reform Jews, and I'm not talking about all Reform Jews, but frequently, very often so, that those Jews are part of the problem and that they are actually also on the forefront of those who make things worse for Jews in general. I think Jews should be coming out and speaking about that, and pointing that out and drawing a line between themselves and those Jews who always work against the interests of Jews and of conservatives, so that you can also then spread the message that that you, conservative, as in politically conservative, and religiously Orthodox Jews are actually not on the side of those who are progressivists, who are secularists, who are hardcore leftists, and so on. You should be the ones who point out that divide and who take a side. It will make things better in general.
And just to be clear, I mean, the conservative Jews are not Orthodox Jews. Conservative Jews are like basically Reform Judaism with some sprinkles of Orthodoxy in, but they're still more closer to the Reform Jews. The Jews that actually follow the Torah as best as they can would be the Orthodox Jews.
Which is why I said politically conservative. I wasn't referring to the religious conservative. Yeah.
Well, just we did hear AP condemning lots of Jews and then bossing them around and acting like he's the authority over Jews. So anyway, we'll just.
It's true.
Well, I am the king of. I am their leader now. So yeah.
Just remember, everyone, when Kanye goes sane, AP loses it. Nick said he's a fan of Stalin. Tucker didn't push back. Tucker said he hates Zionist Christians more than anyone. He hardly pushed back on anything. Shocker. Not Tucker.
Mm-hmm.
So that means Tucker Carlson hates Charlie Kirk. Good.
Well, he's doing a bang-up job of destroying Charlie's organization. So If Muslims truly read the Quran like you guys read and study the Bible, Islam couldn't exist as anything substantial. It directly contradicts itself. Yeah, it's one of the things you'll find is that Muslims do not read the Quran.
Yeah, just did a live where we were talking with Muslims, and of course the Islamic dilemma came up, and then they're telling us all this. They're not going what the Quran says. Their word of God, their scripture is the Dawah script, and so confirm doesn't mean confirm. Muhaymin means criterion, even though it doesn't mean criterion, and every lame excuse in the book.
Muhaymin.
Paulo said 2026 will be the year of Islam in the U.S. Agree. Well, it depends on what you mean. If you mean Islam getting crushed, then yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean ideologically and psychologically. I was referring to Mamdani. Oh, there's a guy who said, no, it works. It works in Massachusetts. What works in Massachusetts would work in New York City. He says, I was referring to Mamdani's plan to levy a 2 to 4% extra tax on the wealthy because I thought you guys said his socialist policies would drive the wealthy out of the city. If all you had was a small tax increase, if that were the only thing, you might have a valid point, David. Mm-hmm. It's when you go actual socialist, or I mean, he sounds like a communist, like who's just tossing socialism out there because it's a little more acceptable. The rich are they're your targets. You think it's, we'll do 2 to 4%, and then everything's going to stay the same. I mean, he's basically bragging that he's making this a socialist city, and he's going step by step by step. In other words, if you have half a brain in your head and you're wealthy in New York, you say, this is step 1 of where this is going. Do I want to wait here to see if it turns out great, like in Massachusetts? No, they don't. And so they're going to leave. He said, I would be happy to debate this further. I think we should find a lot of agreement. Dude, we probably agree on almost everything, just to be clear. I think we would find a lot of agreement because I'm hardly a Mamdani supporter, but these super chats add up and I'm not wealthy. Oh, really? Well, that's the tax, buddy. That's the tax. You got to pay it. What do you want? Someone else to pay for your super chats? You want me to tax some millionaires to pay for your super chats? That's what Mamdani would do. Hey, we should come up with a system where rich people pay for the super chats of everyone else, and we make them do it, right? Like they don't have a choice. And it's like, hey, we saw you with your $100 super chat. You're going to pay this guy's $10 super chat because we know you got the money. It'd be awesome. So yeah, David. No, well, David. To be fair, these things could go in all kinds of directions. It's possible, as I mentioned before, that someone sits him down and says, okay, you could do a couple little things, but you're not doing this because this will ruin things or because this will be too bad for the party. So there's a possibility because he's got to work with other people and there are powerful people. And so they could kind of keep him on a leash so that he can't go too far with his stuff. Or things could go really, really bad, really, really quickly. So we can make our predictions but we have to see what happens.
That'll happen. Yeah.
Fuentes is horrible, but some elite lefty coastal Ashkenazi Jews really are trying to kill the rest of us. I say this as a Jewish American. It's okay to talk about Alex Soros. What is it?
He's talking about George Soros and his like grandson or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The fact that they're doing that has nothing to do with their ethnicity, though. Like, this is a weird correlation.
These are Jews. This is what the Jews do. AP, you are always invited to Bir Shiva to see lots of Bedouins, camels, and me. But you should know, I don't have 7,000. Why is he going then?
Next time. Okay.
Jews are part of the problem. AP 2025, how things have changed.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Brothers, I attended one of Sam's live PC. What's a PC? I mean, it's personal computer, but what's live PC?
Public chat, right. Maybe.
Okay. Sam's live something. You can't curse people and preach Bible. Sam lost his path, and we will pray for him. Love you all, and God bless.
I will say, I just have to say, we're going to talk about this in length. We're going to talk about this extensively.
Sunday.
But in all honesty, yes, Sunday. But in all honesty, imagine you are a Christian and you go on a channel to listen to stuff about Christianity, and on that channel you ask a question as a Christian, and in response to your very innocent question, or which to your question which appeared very honest and innocent to you, the response that you get is that you're a son of Satan and the child of a Shia muta prostitute and all that. And, and if this is happening on every single live stream, I honestly have to say nobody should be listening to that channel anymore.
Yeah,
nobody should listen that. Nobody should regard that channel as a good channel. Nobody should regard that channel as a source of goodness, of good morality, of good anything. Nobody should listen to that anymore. And I fooled myself thinking, I can't judge that guy and all that. When everybody else around me was telling me, "Hey, dude, don't interact with him," I thought, I'm a terrible person in many ways. I won't judge him. I'll give him a chance. All that. I'll give him a chance, and then he actually started attacking me. And then he actually started attacking me in the most vile ways. And I realize now only, unfortunately, I was dumb enough to not see it. I realize now only that that he is an absolutely horrible person, and that this is him just being a terrible person is not the only thing. It is that he has a major channel that is supposed to be a Christian channel where he preaches and where he teaches. Right. And together with those teachings, you get some really, really, really sickening behavior. And nobody should be listening to that channel.
Yeah. Here's how this actually works, right? When you're online, you're drawing from a pool of the entire world population. There are enough people in the world who like that kind of behavior that you can actually get a following just with the terrible, terrible behavior, right? And it's kind of a process of unnatural selection, right? People say, "Hey, go on here, Sam. He's great Bible teacher, and he's humiliating the Muslims and stuff." People are like, "Oh, let me go on there and check this out and stuff." And then they're a whore, you slut, you're a whore, your mother the whore. Lots of people are repulsed by that and they go somewhere else. Well, guess what? The people who like that sort of thing or into that sort of thing, or who like being abused and talked to like that, or who like watching other people be abused and talked to like that, well, they stick around. And so he always has this like core following, and he loses some of those people because eventually he had people like, they're just, okay, I'll put up with this because the great Bible teaching and stuff. But eventually it's like, I can't. And they go away, but new people come in. And so that's how it works. Richest is a changing category, by the way, goes around. Yeah, that's true. Right now, New York City is the richest in terms of the number of millionaires, 384,000 millionaires in New York City. Thank you so much for your encouragement and such an important reminder. But AP, you would be surprised. There was a video of Zohran at a Hasidim gathering claiming his mother was Jewish. Still, I love all you. Stay praying. I think Mamdani will say pretty much anything.
Mm-hmm. Alhamdulillah.
Saw a meme today saying that Andrew Cuomo and the Kuomintang are fleeing to Staten Island from Chairman Zohran. Oh, yeah, I get it. I get the parallel. The communist revolution in China. I can't sleep. Finding you guys are live is a nice surprise. I heard Jews are spitting on Christians on Arrakis lately. Love you guys and good night. Yeah, how do you answer that?
It's just, I mean, if it's fun to do, I would do that too.
Yep, we all do that.
Heard.
Yeah, who doesn't do that? Will Rep always lose high immigrants areas?
Yes.
What, Republicans?
Oh,
yes.
I don't know. Maybe.
No, you have you do have lots of like Hispanic immigrants are actually more conservative. They're culturally more conservative, and they don't fall for the vote for this policy that goes completely, vote for this person who will impose these policies which are diametrically opposed to everything you believe in. So just keep in mind, immigrants come from a bunch of different places, and they have a diversity of views and ethical standards and so on. But you basically have like one party that like, it's, hey, you owe us. So you have to constantly vote for us, even if we're going against everything you believe in. And some people fall for that, but some people don't.
Trump won a bunch of like high Hispanic counties on the border in Texas this past election. So, it's definitely not going to always be a Republican loss. It will change on different policies.
That Sam dude reminds me of my older sister. I cut all ties with her almost 10 years ago. Best decision of my life. Well, some people are completely toxic. If Jews do bad things, it's not because they're Jews. Jewish culture doesn't say to get rid of other groups. Some of these chatters are bonkers. Yeah, we know. We trust.
I'm sorry. That's not how it works. If a non-Jew does something bad, it is that person's fault. If a Jew does something bad, it's the fault of all Jews. That's how it works.
Yeah,
that's very true.
So how are you not getting this? We've pointed it out many times. I'm very concerned about Israel's future. Mamdani proved you can be anti-Israel and still win elections. Polls show that the youth have become increasingly anti-Israel. Yeah, that's true. And Nick has got a grip on the youth and gets 50,000 plus views. Yeah. Yep. Those are the times we live in. Those are the times we...
Yeah, I mean, we also got to think, though, like the anti-Israeli sentiment has sort of come up within the past couple of years. That means it can also shift again pretty fast. So let's see what happens in terms of policies in the Middle East. I don't think the Islamic nations out there are just going to be peaceful, loving, hunky-dory places over the next 20 to 30 years. I'm sure we're going to see a lot of changing and shiftings in geopolitics that's going to cause a lot of people to go, wait, Israel is actually an ally against this monster called Islam. And so we'll see changes.
All right, guys.
Why are you talking about Israel? You're Israel first.
Hey, let's go ahead and check out some of Mamdani's victory speech. I have not watched it, but I heard he didn't come across as the super nice, friendly guy, and he started sounding more Stalin-esque in this speech. But let's go ahead and see what all the fuss is about.
Death to America.
Thank you, my friends.
Friends. It's comrades, dude. It's comrades.
Yeah.
The sun may have set over our city this evening, but as Eugene Debs once said,
Isn't that a socialist?
I can see the dawn of a better day for humanity.
People cheering like crazy because he quoted a socialist.
For as long as we can remember, the working people of New York have been told by the wealthy and the well-connected that power does not belong in their hands.
Is that what they were told? I don't remember that memo.
Fingers bruised from lifting boxes on the warehouse floor, palms calloused from delivery bike handlebars, knuckles scarred with kitchen burns. These are not hands that have been allowed to hold power. And
now you voted for me, and now you have the power.
Pause for a second here. This is the funniest thing. This is so hilarious. This is such a typical stereotype when it comes to these communists, and he is very much a communist. His speech immediately starts with this appeal to emotions, to the working class, to those who actually do and go and do work. Just a quick question to everybody. What do you think Zohran Mamdani did in terms of work in his life?
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody know here?
I bet he
was a rapper.
He
was a failed rapper. That's all I know.
He has never worked a proper job in his life.
That's why he's a communist. It's always them. I mean, just read Animal Farm. I mean, that's what happens. I mean, if you read Animal Farm by George Orwell, it's basically sort of like this. The pigs lead the revolution to take over, and then the one pig doesn't really do a lot of work, but he gets in charge. And then, of course, now all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. It's always the same cycle over and over again. These Stupid intellectuals in college who don't know anything about work, who don't know anything about blue collar work, start pushing this communist nonsense. They ral up a bunch of people in hopes that they'll get more money, more power. And then what happens? They become elites and start oppressing the poor again. We saw this in the USSR. We saw this with Pol Pot. We saw this in China. Endless repeating process.
Yeah, think about this. I mean, this is Zohran Mamdani from an immigrant family. His father is an extremely anti-American professor at Columbia University. So his father is a professor at an Ivy League school. His mother is an award-winning film producer whose films for, I think, a decade were funded by Qatar. Zohran has absolutely no qualifications, and yet he's just been elected mayor of New York City. And he's saying that this means that the guy with, scuff marks on his knuckles from his job now has the power. And people cheer for that idiotic nonsense.
And the funny thing is, he's talking as if it was the working class that elected him. According to the data, the working class did not elect him. He was mostly, so those who caused him to win the election were the middle class and the upper middle class. So it wasn't the working class. So who is he talking to here? It's very funny.
Pretty lame and stupid. Let's see.
This is how it
Over
always
the
goes.
last 12 months, you have dared to reach for something greater.
And that thing is me.
That's what I was just thinking.
Tonight, against all odds, we have grasped it.
Growth.
What?
Not in the Zoot sense. I mean,
Not in the Zoot sense.
The future is in our hands.
Like Muhammad was in the hands of...
My friends, we have toppled a political dynasty.
Like the Zoot toppled Muhammad's rear end. See, this is just a lesson to everyone. Anything can be turned into a Zoot joke.
I wish Andrew Cuomo only the best in private life. But let tonight be the final time I utter his name. As we turn the page on a politics that abandons the many and answers only to the few. New York, tonight you have delivered a mandate for change. A mandate for a new kind of politics. A mandate for a city we can afford. And a mandate for a government that delivers exactly that.
I'll
No.
bet my savings account that the city will not become more affordable.
Yeah, and I would. I mean, unless it just turns into a hellscape and no one wants to live there, and you can just buy stuff. But no, it's just people voted for this. I mean, leading right up to the election, once people finally started paying attention to what he's claiming, things started shifting, and it was I saw something like if the election had been a week later, given how people's view of him was changing because everyone started sharing clips of all the insane stuff he was saying. If the election had been a week later, he would have lost based on the amount of ground he was losing just because people started actually sharing all the insane stuff that he said. But him saying, "Hey, you voted for this, you voted." A bunch of young people on college campuses got revved up by a guy running around. Hey, I'm the young guy. I'm going to stick it to the establishment and I'm going to make this city affordable and I'm going to give everyone free stuff and I'm brown and I'm Muslim. That's what they voted for. Not that they weren't voting for, yeah, let's legalize prostitution and let's legalize drugs and let's do this and they weren't voting for that, man.
On January 1st, I will be sworn in as the mayor of New York City.
Woohoo!
And that is because of you.
That is because of you and your ignorance and your gullibility and your complete stupidity and your lack of understanding of anything in history or in politics or in reality. It's all because of these things that I now stand before you.
Wait a minute, what the heck?
What?
I'm checking the exit polls of the elections here. On the question, do you think the condition of New York City's economy is those who answered good, 59% of them voted for Zohran Mamdani. Those who said it is not so good, only 48% voted for him. Those who said the economic situation is poor, only 42% voted for him. So this is, I don't get it. The highest percentage of voters who voted for him actually think that the economy in New York City is good. But aren't they supposed to vote for change here? Especially economically? Isn't that what's being propagated here? I don't really understand.
You're trying to use reason and apply it to this. That's just not going to work. We're talking about a socialist, okay? They don't use reason. They believe in fantasy land.
This is so strange. Okay.
I think you guys are both just jealous of Zohran.
So before I say anything else, I must say this. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you to the next generation of New Yorkers who refuse to accept that the promise of a better future was a relic of the past. You showed that when politics speaks to you without condescension, we can usher in a new era of leadership. We will fight for you because we are you.
We are you? I'm serious. It is seriously amazing to me that, like, someone who's literally born with a silver spoon in his mouth, the most elite of the elite, again, Ivy League professor, film producer, mother, never had a real job in his life, gets thrust into, not in the Zoot sense, but gets thrust into politics as mayor of New York City with no qualifications and saying, see, I'm just like the rest of you. That is indeed Fantasyland.
Or as we say on Steinway, ana minkum wa ilaykum.
Yay, he said the Muslim thing, yay!
Thank you to those so often forgotten by the politics of our city who made this movement their own. I speak of Yemeni bodega owners and Mexican abuelas, Senegalese taxi drivers and Uzbek nurses, Trinidadian line cooks and Ethiopian aunties. Yes, aunties.
Columbia professors and rich film producers.
Why isn't he talking about the drug dealers? I don't understand.
And why does he keep talking about everyone at their jobs, their hardworking jobs, where they work hard at their jobs? And he's like the opposite of them and acting like he's one of them. It's like, how are people so stupid that they fall for this?
Why is he not talking about white people?
Yeah, what about white people?
To every New Yorker in Kent.
It's funny. It'd be funny if he was going down the line and then he said, and dirty Turkish criminals. People would have lost his mind. Be like, what? How dare you talk about Turkish people?
How dare you, sick?
Kensington and Midwood and Hunts Point.
And Jewish genociders. Boo! Waiting for him to say that.
Know this. This city is your city, and this democracy is yours too. This campaign is about people like Wesley, an $11.99 organizer I met outside of Elmhurst Hospital on Thursday night. A New Yorker who lives elsewhere, who commutes 2 hours each way from Pennsylvania because rent is too expensive in this city. It's about people like the woman I met on the BX33 years ago, who said to me, I used to love New York, but now it's just where I live.
All right.
And it's about people like Richard, the taxi driver I went on a 15-day hunger strike with outside of City Hall, who still has to drive his cab 7 days a week.
All right.
My brother, we are in City Hall now.
So how's this guy not going to, like, speaking just completely realistically here, how is this guy not going to need to drive his taxi 7 days a week now?
Because Zoran's gonna take money from rich people and give it to him.
Yeah, but he's saying things like, "Oh, and we're going to give free bus rides." And okay, what is a taxi driver? What's he need a free bus ride for? And is the free bus ride and the free this, or I'd be interested in seeing how this works and how these guys are just liberated now.
Well, I mean, if the government's going to start doing that kind of stuff, that is going to take money away from cab drivers. I mean,
So you're not getting it. You're not getting it. He's going to give free bus rides to people, so they will no longer have to use the taxi. But at that point, the taxi driver also no longer needs to drive his taxi because he can just use free buses. So therefore, he will ride free buses and go all the distance that he would normally go in with his taxi rides. Now, how will he afford anything else? We don't talk about that.
No.
There's nothing else to afford, guys. Come on, be realistic.
I mean,
It is awesome.
We just got to look at Venezuela. This is the same kind of crap they heard when Chavez got power, and what happened? It's now a hellhole. You put in the social policies. It sounds good on paper. We're going to make this free. We're going to make things more affordable in living, and then everything collapses. We've seen this again in history over and over again.
Yeah, that's what Thomas Sowell said. It was in the 1990s. And he said it way back in the 1990s. He said, we've spent the last 30 years replacing what works with what sounds good. And that's basically what socialism is. It's what sounds good to lots of people, but does not work. And you replace things that work with socialism.
Victory is for all of them. And it's for all of you.
But mainly for me.
The more than 100,000 volunteers who built this campaign into an unstoppable force. Because of you, we will make this city one that working people can love and live in again.
Prove it.
Together we'll make New York City great again.
It's never worked once anywhere, but it will work now. Yay!
Just think about why this stuff doesn't work. I mean, when you say you're going to tax the rich, which is a common argument from the left, what are you taxing? Elon Musk does not have a bank account of like a couple trillion or $1 billion that he Scrooge McDuck dives into.
That's an important point. Yep.
Yeah, he's got money in property.
He has a company.
Businesses.
Yeah, he owns percentages of companies. That is something that it would be good for people to understand, right? So people Elon Musk is worth whatever it is, $300 billion. Elon Musk is worth $300 billion. They think he has $300 billion sitting in a vault or in a bank account or something like that. And why doesn't he just share that money? Because it's not money, really. A tiny percent of that will be money. The vast majority of that is he owns a portion of Tesla. And if Tesla is valued at this, then they say, okay, the portion of Tesla that you own is worth $200 billion. Therefore, that's part of your net worth. And you own this and this and this and this and that. And so when you say, hey, you need to go after him more to pay more, what are you actually saying? You're saying, Elon, you shouldn't have that big a portion of this company. So you need to sell part of your company and give it to the government, the least efficient thing on the planet, right? And give it to them. And that's what you need to do. And there's something weird. There is something, I understand taxes and stuff. And
it's worse than that. It's worse than that, because you're saying that if you're going to tax all the billionaires, okay, you want the money to come into the government. Well, they now have to sell their stock. They have to sell their property. Who's going to buy it? Well, other billionaires or millionaires but they have to sell their own stuff. So when people say we need to tax the millionaires and the billionaires, they're not actually thinking about how that money is going to come into the government, because all that is put in stocks. It's in bonds. It's in property. It's funding jobs. It's funding pensions. It's building the economy we all live in. If you take all that money out of the economy and put it in the government, you've just made the economy worse, because you've taken all of that property, all those stocks, all that value out of the actual market, and it's been liquidated, and now it's supposed to be turned into profit to give to the government, instead of it working in stock in like Tesla, which goes to fund that kind of stuff, which helps to build the company, that kind of stuff. I mean, so when you say you're just going to tax the rich, you don't understand how this works. But this is what happened in Venezuela. They took over the oil companies and basically it was a private oil company. They made it public sector, and the value of that went down, because now it's just owned by the government. It no longer has the value, no longer has people working for it that want to make a profit to pay investors. Investors can't fund money into those companies because it's just owned by the government now. You cause the economy to shrink when you do that kind of stuff. So this is the problem with these kind of socialist policies that people don't actually think about.
Yeah, and we kind of already talked about this, and it was included in there, but like, it's really important, guys, that people understand when you hear, let's say Elon Musk has $300 billion or something like that. He owns portions of companies, and those companies employ tons of people, right? And so it's not like the money isn't doing anything. Right? It's not like it's sitting in an account. Rich guys don't just tend to leave all their money sitting in accounts. They invest in things. They invest in companies, which allows those companies to hire people. So those people then have jobs. And when you're saying, oh, no, well, actually, Elon, your company, you're so successful with your company now that now your company's worth this insane amount of money, and therefore your portion of the company is worth this insane amount of money. You got to sell it. You got to sell it. It's like, why make a company then? If as soon as it is extremely successful, you start making me sell it off to give to you, why even try here? And the response of socialists is, exactly. Just don't even let us do all of that stuff. Let us do all the business, and you just sit there and take your hand out there. And the New Yorkers, yay, what a great idea. This will work in New York City.
Well, also, who's going to buy Elon's company? It's not going to be for the value it's worth, because, if you're trying to tax all the millionaires and billionaires, they now have to liquidate a bunch of stuff. So Elon's company will get sold for less of the value that it actually is. Well, so you've just devalued that.
Zohran's real goal is to make all the companies tank, and then the government buys them up.
Right.
Or just takes them.
That's the socialist goal.
Yeah. Seizing the means of production. He's said that in a video.
With every door knocked, every petition signature earned, and every hard-earned conversation, you eroded the cynicism that has come to define our politics. Now, I know that I have asked for much from you over this last year.
Oh, sure have.
Time and again, you have answered my calls. But
as a sign of thanks, I will live like a king for the next 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
I have one final request. New York City, breathe this moment in.
Get on your knees.
We have held our breath for longer than we know. We have held it in anticipation of defeat. Held it because the air has been knocked out of our lungs too many times to count. Held it because we cannot afford to exhale. Thanks to all of those who sacrificed so much, we are breathing in the air of a city that has been reborn.
Should we talk about breathing in the air in New York?
To my campaign team, who believed when no one else did, and who took an electoral project and turned it into so much more, I will never be able to express the depth of my gratitude. You can sleep now. To my parents, Mama and Baba, you have made me into the man I am today.
You have filled me with hatred for America, and your little boy,
It is all your fault.
is going to destroy it for you.
I am so proud to be your son.
And to the Holy Land Five, whom I support with every fiber of my being.
And to my incredible wife, Rama. Hayati, there is no one I would rather have by my side in this moment and in every moment.
Not even Prophet Muhammad.
To every New Yorker, whether you voted for me, for one of my opponents, or felt too disappointed by politics to vote at all, thank you for the opportunity to prove myself worthy of your trust. I will wake each morning with a singular purpose: to make this city better for you than it was the day before.
Wait, so you're trying to make New York great again?
There are many who thought this day would never come, who feared that we would be condemned only to a future of less,
I like
with
this.
every election consigning us simply to more of the same.
I trust him.
And there are others who see politics today as too cruel for the flame of hope to still burn. New York, we have answered those fears. Tonight we have spoken in a clear voice. Hope is alive.
Preach!
Hope is a decision that tens of thousands of New Yorkers made day after day. Volunteer shift after volunteer shift, despite attack ad after attack ad. More than 1 million of us stood in our churches, in gymnasiums, in community centers,
Mosques.
as we filled in the ledger of
You didn't say
democracy.
mosque.
Ooh, he doesn't care about Muslims, you see.
And while we cast our ballots alone, we chose hope together. Hope over tyranny. Hope over big money and small ideas. Hope over despair.
Well, nothing like a good plate of hope for dinner. And a big bank account full of hope.
Sorry, kids, the government-run grocery store is out of food, so you're going to eat some hope and change tonight.
More hope? With hope,
love the
with
taste of
hope
hope.
sauce? And to the Al Zut, thank you for impregnating my prophet with your manliness and inspiring me.
We won because New Yorkers allowed themselves to hope that the impossible could be made possible. And we won because we insisted that no longer would politics be something that is done to us. Now it is something that we do.
Let the zoot.
Not in the Zut then.
Standing before you, I think of the words of Jawaharlal Nehru.
Another socialist.
A moment comes but rarely in history when we step out from the old to the new, when an age ends and when the soul of a nation long suppressed finds utterance. Tonight we have stepped out from the old into the new. So let us speak now with clarity and conviction that cannot be misunderstood.
The streets will flow with the blood of the unbelievers.
About what this new age will deliver and for whom. This will be an age where New Yorkers expect from their leaders a bold vision of what we will achieve. rather than a list of excuses for what we are too timid to attempt. Central to that vision will be the most ambitious agenda to tackle the cost of living crisis that this city has seen since the days of Fiorillo LaGuardia.
Here's the thing about that. Like, hasn't like the city basically been Democrat runs for like the past like 2 decades? Like, you if
you had Giuliani, and then before and after that.
Yeah, basically it. I mean, so like, if you've been pushing progressive policies, like you think a little bit of that would have helped. Now it's like saying, well, the thing is that, oh yeah, we were only doing a little, we were doing socialism light. Let's do socialism max. That'll fix everything. Why isn't it that it doesn't help with it? Socialism never works. And the answer is always, well, we just need more socialism. We didn't go too far to the left to fix this kind of stuff. Meanwhile, I would argue that if you start pushing like libertarian or conservative policies, we're going to cut taxes here, we're going to cut regulation here, you do see good things come out of that little by little. I never see it on the other side where it's like, well, we didn't cut regulation enough. Like, it's like a little bit does seem to help, I would say.
That's all you need. Guys, everyone watching, if you want to know what this guy sounds like to me, just imagine that he dialed it up a little more and made it more obviously nonsense. But just imagine the same crowd cheering for it. And all you hard workers, you're all going to be billionaires. Yay! I'm going to take all the rich people's money and give it all to you, and we're all going to be billionaires. Yay! We're all going to be sitting down, being fed grapes like Ali Dawa. And that's going to be our lives. Yay! It's like, okay, how do you actually make this stuff work without destroying everything? That's the question.
An agenda that will freeze the rents for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants.
You see, he has an agenda. He said he has an agenda.
So, rent freezing is so bad. Like, if you tell a landlord you can only charge $1,000 for this apartment, okay, now you've just incentivized him not to invest a lot of money into that. Fix your water pipes? I don't have the money for that. What? Fix your stove? I don't have the money for that because I can only charge you so much money, and I have to pay taxes. I have to pay this. I have to, all sorts of other costs that go into these kinds of things. So like rent freezing always leads to lower quality because as the market changes and goes up, those apartments can't go up along with it. So I'm not saying the rent problem in New York is hunky-dory. It's obviously a problem. You're not going to fix that by rent freezing, though, without deregulating and trying to make it more of a competitive market. That's one of the main problems. Of course, New York's main problem is it's just overcrowded. It's like there's nowhere else to build anymore, so value just is going to increase in what is already there because you just can't go build new places. So you cannot increase the surplus. There's more demand than surplus. That's just basic economics.
With someone like him, seems like the goal. So you rent freeze, right? That's another thing. It sounds like a good idea, and can be in certain limited, if there's a temporary thing or a temporary problem and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But generally, the idea, guys, is hey, you're renting an apartment, and this guy cannot charge you. He can't raise the rent on you or something like that. Well, guess what? You have inflation, all kinds of other things, and changing property values and so on, and IP's pointing out, hey, if all of a sudden costs go up and I can't raise the price, then what happens? With someone like Mamdani, seems like the goal would be, well, then the government buys up all those properties that you don't want to take care of anymore, and then we control them all, and we buy up all the businesses and so on, and eventually we get our socialist dystopia.
Make buses fast and free. And deliver universal child care across our city.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. If you make buses free, now you've just ruined the value. No one's going to care anymore. Like if you have to pay for a bus fare, it tells something in your brain. I have invested money into this. I should respect it more. It goes back to the kid who's given a sports car by his father. He never had to earn it or work for it.
Like
But
Zohan.
he's going to be doing donuts in the parking lots. He's not going to care about the car. If someone has to earn a sports car, they take better care of it. That's just standard for anything you're going to invest. If buses are free, no one's going to really respect it. Like, no one's going to really actually think there's any value in there because they can just get on, get off, do whatever they want. It's going to decrease the quality again. This is just standard human psychology combined with economics. When you make stuff free, people don't respect it more. Like the guy that there was a guy that was putting out, I heard the story, but in the 50s, he's putting out sunscreen. No one was buying his sunscreen. He increased the price of the sunscreen, and people started buying it like crazy because they saw it as more valuable now. So sometimes even companies will overprice things to make it seem more valuable than it is, and then people want to buy that because human psychology tends to gravitate towards that. We tend to value things that actually cost. When something is free, we tend to not really care that much.
As someone who rode the New York subway over and over and over and over and over again, I just think about apparently it got worse after I left, because then you ended up with like more violence and stuff happening, people pushing people over the tracks and stuff. Because here's what happens, guys. Now, I don't know what he plans to do about this. But you have people who are in mental hospitals, and you have people who have mental problems but are not in mental hospitals. They tend to hang out on the subway and on the buses. And they hang out definitely like in the summer when it's hot, they hang out on the subways and buses because they're air conditioned. And then in the winter when it's really cold, they definitely hang out on the subways and buses because it's warm. Kind of fun sometimes with some of the funny, crazy people. Not nearly as fun when it's the hostile and violent, crazy people and so on. But I'd be interested in how this free buses and so on works out for everyone.
Well,
See what happens.
Why do you guys have a problem with free buses?
Man, I don't know, because they don't work, man. I don't know. Someone in the chat said, "Well, what should we charge money for playgrounds?" No, that's not what I'm saying. But I mean, I live in Tucson. Okay, the public playgrounds are covered in homeless people, graffiti. Things are always broken. If I take my daughter to one of the trampoline parks or to a McDonald's play place, they're always kept better. So no, I'm not saying charge for playgrounds, but just look at the difference of what happens when something is public and free versus something that you have to charge for. When you go into those trampoline parks, you can't destroy things, but that happens often with the public places. There's graffiti all over the parks here. It just happens. This is human psychology. I'm not saying that's the way it should be, but it is the way it is. And this is the problem with socialists. They don't understand human nature. They did not understand what Immanuel Kant said when he said, out of the crooked timber of humanity, no straight thing ever formed. Humans are not just good creatures, and if you give them free buses, they're going to take care of them. No, they're going to abuse it because we're naturally selfish. We're naturally sinful, as the gospel says. And so that's why capitalism works and socialism doesn't. It actually is more in accord with our nature.
And, I mean, people do pay for their parks. You pay that in taxes and so on. Mm-hmm. The question is, should everything just be covered by taxes? Like, should your car be covered by your taxes? Should your bus rides, should everything just be covered by taxes? According to these guys, yes. And that's the direction they want to head in. So if you think that's a good idea, I mean, I would have assumed that just by learning how communism, socialism always fail, and I would assume that at least you would see how completely incompetent governments can be, especially when they have no competition because they control everything. That the end, even if it sounds good, hey, the government will just control everything and give us everything. And then we work for the government and, the government gives us what we need. And as good as that may sound, it sounds awful to me, but as good as that may sound to you, it just doesn't work. There was a reason if you were an American tourist and you went to the Soviet Union in the 1980s, people would be begging you, offering anything they have to get the pair of pants you were wearing. Because the pants they made there were crap, because there's no incentive to do a great job. because you're getting paid the same if you're guaranteed a job and you get paid the same whether you're the greatest maker of pants in the world or you suck. There's no incentive that the harder I work, the more of a success I can make. There's none of that. It doesn't. So, and what happens? Everything goes to crap. And
socialism, communism tends to destroy Christian culture as it historically did. That's what keeps people virtuous.
Because you need the state. You need the state to be God, and you can't have some other God that people are loyal to.
They do. The socialist makes the state God, and it replaces actual God. And this is what happens. Like the more we go into big government, the more people depend on government, and they don't look to God as the main source. I mean, this is one of the values of Western societies. We develop different institutions. Whereas the socialist wants to return to some sort of like neo-primitive form where everything is under the rulers and the leaders. But in the Western society, we have different institutions. You have the church, you have the state, you have academia, you have media, and they don't all work for each other. But under a socialist communist, it all has to be, you have state-run media, you have state-run schools, you have state-run churches. It puts everything back under that. When you have different institutions that manage things, like a church that deals with people's virtue, and they're not being paid for by the government, they're incentivized to go out and actually win converts and make people virtuous, to actually preach the gospel, because they need to actually, like justify why they belong in society. Whereas there, you'll see with state-run churches in Europe, a lot of them are apathetic. They're atheists. They just sort of like initiate weddings. They don't really care. You still need those. So yeah, this is another problem with socialism.
Now, may our only regret be that this day took so long to come.
Not in the Zook thing.
Come on. I was thinking that was too far. I was thinking that was too far there. So I kept my mouth shut and IP blurts it out.
Sometimes I can't control the inner thoughts.
Did you think about it too, AP?
No.
Oh, okay. getting slow in your peaceful time.
I don't have such a dirty mind.
Gosh.
This new age will be one of relentless improvement. We will hire thousands more teachers.
Oh.
We will.
Okay, guys, keep in mind, everything he's saying right now costs money. And he's already saying that all the free stuff he wants to give, guess what, guys? All the free stuff he wants to, it's not really free. Someone else has to pay for that, namely the government, who presumably will cover that with taxes. But now, if you're also talking about, and we're going to hire thousands to do this and thousands to do that and thousands to do, okay, that's all money. That's all that money has to come from somewhere, right?
Not waste from a bloated bureaucracy. We will work tirelessly to make
a freaking socialist complaining about complaining about a bloated bureaucracy.
You're literally gonna have to hire people to manage all of that. Like, who's gonna manage like the hiring of the new teachers and managing them? Again, socialism creates bureaucracy. How are you gonna avoid that?
This is crazy stuff. Interested in seeing how this works out. By magic, apparently. Apparently, he's a magician. Zoran the magician. That actually sounds like a magician, right? The great Zoran. Mm-hmm. The great Zoran. You see the sign? Come see the great Zoran. Hey, someone who looks like Zoran should do a skit of magical a magic act. The great Zoran, where he takes nothing and turns it into a big pile of money by magic.
Shine again in the hallways of NYCHA developments where they have long flickered. Safety and justice will go hand in hand as we work with police officers to reduce crime and create a department of community safety that tackles...
What? He said years ago that he wants to defund the police. He said years ago that there shouldn't be a crackdown on crime.
Well, during this election,
work with the police.
Yeah, AP. Yeah. That was when it was a popular thing. That the guy has there's no actual substance there. He's an empty vessel to be filled, not in the Zoot sense, but to be filled with whatever ideas are going to get you elected at a particular time. And
he did say in an interview that he regrets saying he thinks the police should be defunded. So he said like a couple of weeks ago, he regrets that. I have
a problem saying that a couple of weeks ago when you're saying it in response to it being used against you in an election. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
In other words, a lot of New Yorkers turned off by that defund the police. Oh yeah. I regret saying that when I said it, and it was a really popular thing to say, and I said it. Yeah. See, I'm as steady as a rock, guys. As steady as a rock.
The mental health crisis and homelessness crises head on. Excellence will become the expectation across government, not the exception. In this new age we make for ourselves, we will refuse to allow those who traffic in division and hate to pit us against one another. In this moment of political darkness,
Didn't he start off by, I will never mention Cuomo's name again?
New York will be the light. Here, we believe in standing up for those we love. Whether you are an immigrant, a member of the trans community, one of the many black women that Donald Trump has fired from a federal job, a single mom still waiting for the cost of groceries to go down, or anyone else with their back against the wall, your struggle is ours too.
It is my struggle.
And we will build a city hall that's
I'm going to write a book called My Struggle about how I will deal with the problem of the Jews.
stands steadfast alongside Jewish New Yorkers and does not waver in the fight against the scourge of anti-Semitism. Where the more than 1 million Muslims know that they belong. Not just in the 5 boroughs of this city, but in the halls of power. No more will New York be a city where you can traffic in Islamophobia and win an election.
It is. I mean, it is still amazing to me that this guy spent his entire, basically, life complaining about Islamophobia. And once again, Dad, there's a family of immigrants. A family of immigrants. They moved to the U.S. and the father, hey, Columbia University professor. Mother, let's make a bunch of films. Film producer. Son doesn't have to work at all and instantly becomes mayor despite no qualifications. Family of immigrant Muslims, and he can't stop complaining about how horrible it is for Muslims here. It's like, how can you cheer for that? It's like, stop your freaking whining, dude, and look around you. My goodness.
But at least he said that whole thing about anti-Semitism. Although the crowd didn't seem very enthusiastic about that, but he still stuck to that. So that's interesting.
Could the same thing happen in a Muslim country? Could a guy go up there and say Christians deserve to have power in government?
Yeah.
Good luck.
You and me, IP. We'll go right to Mecca. We'll stand outside the Kaaba and we'll start screaming that.
This new age will be defined by a competence and a compassion that have too long been placed at odds with one another. We will prove that there is no problem too large for government to solve and no concern too small for it to care about.
Governments can solve all the problems.
That was the line people were pointing out. I'm glad people didn't lose their minds for it like they did for some of the other stuff. Like, apparently some people are like, that sounds a little, what? There is no problem too big for government to solve. Government is the solution to all problems, nor any matter so small that government should not care. In other words, the government has to be involved in the tiniest little details of everything. And people, sounds good. Yeah, straight out of Big Brother, where there's cameras watching you in every room. Yay!
The government is watching you.
I mean, think about the homeless crisis. The government can't solve that because the homeless crisis is majority a mental health problem. I mean, like, if you're not going to get, it's hard to get people to go to rehab. They have to actually want to do that. They need to actually experience change. So a lot of the times these government-run rehab facilities don't do that good of a thing because the people have to change. You know what helps people get off the streets, get off drugs? Churches, because they give people a new sense of purpose that allows them to actually want to change and go through rehab and get off drugs. Okay, this is why in the West we have different institutions. Government covers some things, the church covers other things, and then it works together.
Zut covers one other thing.
That's so Islamophobic. But anyway, the government can't do the things the church does, and vice versa.
Yeah, that's the message. That's the message. Government needs to be doing everything. The government needs to be doing all of it. And people are, let's put this guy in power. Well, what can you say? Hard to argue with actually winning.
Odds with one another. We will prove that there is no problem too large for government to solve and no concern too small for it to care about. For years, those in City Hall have only helped those who can help them. But on January 1st, we will usher in a city government that helps everyone.
Everyone?
Now, I know that many have heard our message only through the prism of misinformation. Tens of millions of dollars have been spent to redefine reality and to convince our neighbors that this new age is something that should frighten them. As has so often occurred, the billionaire class has sought to convince those making $30 an hour that their enemies are those earning $20 an hour. They want the people to fight amongst ourselves so that we remain distracted from the work of remaking a long broken system. We refuse to let them dictate the rules of the game anymore. They can play by the same rules as the rest of us. Together, we will usher in a generation of change. And if we embrace this brave new course, rather than fleeing from
Brave new world,
we can respond to oligarchy and authoritarianism with the strength it fears, not the appeasement it craves.
Dude,
Wild fantasy nonsense.
look, Ron
Like,
Mamdani. Mamdani,
can't
I know
have
you're
socialism.
watching.
words.
Mamdani, I know you're watching, but you're taking this victory a little bit too seriously, man.
Yeah, dude,
not
lighten up, man. You won. You
You're
don't
not
need to
going-
spike
you're
the
not going
ball.
to- You're not going to revolutionize. You're not going to change it into a whole different country, dude.
After all, if anyone can show a nation betrayed by Donald Trump how to defeat him, it is the city that gave rise to him.
That was a
And if
solid
there
line.
is
you know.
any way to terrify
That would, but it'd be more solid if like Donald Trump like surrounded the city with the military and stuff. Like what? You declaring war on me? Huh?
a despot, it is by dismantling the very conditions that allowed him to accumulate power. This is not only how we stop Trump, it's how we stop the next one. So Donald Trump, since I know you're watching, I have 4 words for you. Turn the volume up.
Sounds like the volume went down.
The crowd is easily amused.
What's that?
We will hold bad landlords to account because the Donald Trumps of our city have grown far too comfortable taking advantage of their tenants. We will put an end to the culture of corruption that has allowed billionaires like Trump to evade taxation and exploit tax breaks. We will stand alongside unions and expand labor protections because we know, just as Donald Trump does, that when working people have ironclad rights, the bosses who seek to extort them become very small indeed.
We will fight those who do not believe in Allah.
New York
Once
will
again.
remain.
What?
Once again, to point out, he keeps talking about this is for the working class. Oh no, the working class is rising up. The working class is not the one that voted for him. It's actually the well-off that voted for him. So,
Hey,
very funny.
hey, David, I got to take off.
All right, man.
You were not supposed to be here to begin with, so
Yeah,
Well, I don't
dare
know
you.
why
just came in at random.
How dare you?
This ain't Club Random.
CIP.
I'll see ya.
What? Do I have to hang up on him? Hang on. I'm gonna hang up on him.
The hell?
He just
He
left
just
him. He just left himself there.
Hold on,
What a nerd, man. All right, let's finish this one.
A city of immigrants, a city built by immigrants, powered by immigrants.
The city was not built by immigrants. New York City was not built by immigrants.
What are you talking about, man?
It was not built by immigrants.
Everyone was immigrants back then.
It was settlers, not immigrants.
You're a settler, colonist.
It was
Of
colonists,
tonight,
not immigrants.
led by an immigrant.
No, pause. Pause. It's so funny. They hate the colonizers. They hate the settlers. They hate the colonists when it's convenient. And then they equate themselves, the immigrants, to the colonists when it's convenient for them. So you see the inconsistency.
Guys, you hear this, right? It's like, that's right. We're all coming to your country from other places, and we're here to take this place over and colonize. I mean, wait, is that good or bad?
Immigrant. Damn, man. This is incredible.
So hear me, President Trump, when I say this. To get to any of us, you will have to get through all of us.
Yeah, Donald Trump was coming. He was just coming to take over the city and destroy you all.
When we enter City Hall in 58 days, expectations will be high. We will meet them. A great New Yorker once said that while you campaign in poetry, you govern in prose. If that must be true, let the prose we write still rhyme, and let us build a shining city for all.
That would have been a good time to bust out some rap lyrics. Sadly, it wouldn't work because he is the worst rapper I've ever heard in my life.
You know, even when I disagree with certain people, but they give like really good speeches, I'm usually like, okay, yeah, this is a good speech. With this guy, this is not even a good speech. This is just him like satisfying himself on stage in like a very strange way.
Yeah, it's like you said. It's like you went to ChatGPT and said, "Hey, ChatGPT, take the speeches of all the previous communists and socialists and so on who rose to power and sort of distill it into the most common stuff, and then make it way more narcissistic."
Yeah.
Like, okay, here
Give
you
me
go.
a bunch of one-liners about how good I am. It's so weird.
And we must chart a new path, as bold as the one we have already traveled. After all, the conventional wisdom would tell you that I am far from the perfect candidate. I am young, despite my best efforts to grow older.
Here he goes. Here he goes talking about
I
himself.
am Muslim. Democratic socialist.
Hey, that was actually interesting. I was listening to the cheers to seeing what most of the people. So, Democratic Socialist was the biggest pop there. So that's what the bulk of the audience is most interested in.
And most damning of all, I refuse to apologize for any of this. And yet, if tonight teaches us anything, it is that convention has held us back. We have bowed at the altar of caution, and we have paid a mighty price. Too many working people cannot recognize themselves in our party. And too many among us have turned to the right for answers to why they've been left behind. We will leave mediocrity in our past. No longer will we have to open a history book for proof that Democrats can dare to be great. Our greatness will be anything but abstract. It will be felt by every rent-stabilized tenant who wakes up on the first of every month, knowing the amount they're going to pay hasn't soared since the month before. It will be felt by each grandparent who can afford to stay in the home they have worked for, and whose grandchildren live nearby because the cost of childcare didn't send them to Long Island. It will be felt by the single mother who is safe on her commute and whose bus runs fast enough that she doesn't have to rush school drop-off to make it to work on time.
A chicken in every pot and a car in every garage. Yay!
And it will be felt when New Yorkers open their newspapers in the morning and read...
He thinks people open newspapers. Oh, sorry.
Headlines of success, not scandal. Most of all, it will be felt by each New Yorker when the city they love finally loves them back, and whose bus runs fast enough that she doesn't have to rush school drop-off to make it to work on time. And it will be felt when New Yorkers open their newspapers in the morning and read headlines of success.
That's weird.
Not
It's
scandal.
skipped.
Most of all, it will be felt by each New Yorker when the city they love finally loves them back.
We will make New York great again.
Together, New York, we're going to freeze the... Together, New York, we're going to make buses fast and... Together, New York, we're going to deliver universal... Let the words we've spoken together, the dreams we've dreamt together, become the agenda we deliver together. New York, this power, it's yours. This city belongs to you. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow.
That was the gayest speech I've heard in my entire life.
That was the basest speech you've ever heard in your entire life.
Basest, yeah.
You should be used to stuff like that. You used to listen to all those Hitler speeches all your life.
They were better than this, man.
Well, he's basically saying the same thing, but he was like, and he's like, it's different. What? Zutran Mamdani, New York style halal pizza. Zutran. I wish I had businesses and then I could like randomly name products like the Zut burger or something like that, and then like no one would know what the joke is. What would Zutran Mamdani have to do for the sweet summer child left-leaning girl bosses to experience surprised Pikachu face and subsequent terror regret? I don't know. We'll be seeing it pretty soon, I'm guessing. Copy paste of Chavez's speech. Yeah. Chavez. Malicious, not stupid. They know what they're doing. It's possible to be malicious and stupid. No comment there. Thank you. Why is he acting like he's the president of the world? Watch him get deported, lol. In Mumbai, too, they detest Zohran like guys as mayor. If you meet, you saying detest like they hate him? So they're smart. Have you seen Kanye met with? Oh, we already saw this. Met with Jewish rabbi in New York, Yoshiyahu Pinto, to make amends for past anti-Semitic remarks. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. In short, happy that we're getting nice Kanye right now. We'll be way happier if it actually lasts, because it never does. That's the danger of Islam. They will smile in your face and tell you sweet little lies and turn on the gullible and educated given the chance. No, Islam is peace.
We smile in their faces and we love them. That's what the Muslims say.
I was thinking, you know how Muhammad stole all his lines from everyone else?
Mm-hmm.
Be funny if that one was stolen from Al-Zut. their line is like, we smile in their faces, but zoot them in their butts. Oh, man. Looks like Marxism will spread in the U.S., not spread the way Muhammad spread his cheeks for the... He said, so zoot. Dumb Donnie's mom's first husband was a Jew. You see? Mitch Epstein didn't know she, an Indian Hindu, became a Jew through marriage. Yeah, marriage probably didn't end well, and that's why they hate the Jews now. Did his hunger strike include night feasting? Yeah. And I went on a hunger strike the entire month of Ramadan and did Ramadan fasting. And that's why I've gained 75 pounds and now have type 2 diabetes. It seems Zut is overriding this Christian channel. That's true.
That is
Zut,
true.
or overriding things. Mormonism is theological socialism. It may sound good, but it doesn't work. Ha! Tell that to... I don't know who their leader is anymore.
Mormonism?
Stop being racist, guys. South America is a paradise. I lived there for many years. No one owns a thing, and they're so happy about it. Trust the commie. That'd be a funny shirt, Trust the Commie. With a picture of Zohran Mamdani. Picture of Zohran says, Trust the Commie. Zohran had more mandates in his speech than Momo has with the Al-Zut. If that were possible.
That's pretty good.
This is why public schools don't teach basic economics. If they did, people wouldn't vote for this communist trash. Yeah, it seems like you tell young people this stuff. I remember growing up and communism was frowned upon heavily. What a deluded person Sam is, claiming he'll meet PBD with his mental psychological issues. Lol. That man is deluded along with BPD borderline. They did a joke on PBD and BPD.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty witty.
Pretty witty.
Someone said Sam is meeting with PBD. It wouldn't be surprising because, like, he's a Syrian and has been trying to do stuff with Sam for a little while. But yeah, don't worry. Sam's BPD will overshadow the podcast with PBD.
BPD.
In New York, concrete jungle wet to dream tomato. Socialism always fails because it inherently steals to provide free things, and this theft will always 100% annihilate the supply of products and services. No, it fails because it hasn't been tried properly. Never trust a man who wants to globalize the Intifada and gives free bus rides. Do you see the connection? Oh, yeah. Wants to globalize the Intifada and free bus rides, but especially for Jews. Globalize the Intifada. Mamdani lives in a rent-controlled apartment. Beast. Private enterprise generally has a more vested interest in the customer than the government. Yes, the government rarely ever answers to horrible results. Yeah, guys, you want to start a car company or something like that? In order to compete with other car companies, you have to be making a better product or having the same thing at a cheaper price. You got to do something. You got to do something for people to buy your stuff. What's this make? It makes competition. People striving to make better and better and better, yet more affordable when possible stuff. And that leads to awesome stuff. That leads to having awesome stuff. Government takes control of everything. You get what the government gives you. If there's no competition, they don't have to answer to you. Brilliant. Let's do that. Let's do that. Why doesn't New Yorkers know any history? They don't teach in school anymore. No, they don't. They do teach. They just teach them what they want to know. And you have the teachers, like extreme leftists. You have a bunch of communists and socialists teaching these kids who grew up and now voted for Mamdani. They get info only on social media. Well, that too, that helps. Millions of tourists visit New York City. Many of them use the buses. Why give them free buses? New York City has many free fare programs already. Yeah, like if you're a student at like a high school or something like that, they give you a free one. Free bus means more crazies will use buses more. Yeah, that's true. AP. Ich bin Jude aus New York. Ich wollte mal mit dir ein Podcast machen über Israel und die Probleme.
Well, you're a Jew from New York? Then why are you speaking German?
Do you accept? Yeah, it is kind of funny. Why would a Jew from New York send him a message in German?
I accept.
You don't even know this person, man.
I accept, man.
These billionaires, are they in the room with you now? Mm-hmm. Democracy is the theory that the common people know what they want and deserve to get it good and hard. I am Zohran, the great magician, and for my next trick, I will split the moon. Beast. The system of illegal immigration is part of corruption. Why the socialists only care about rich people corruption? For your information, saying you are African American while you're Indian makes you the king of corruption. Oh, yeah. Zohran did that. That was fine, because this guy reminds me of Bill Clinton 33 years ago. Yep. Bill Clinton was a great orator, but that leads to jokes about what was going on with Monica.
Bill Clinton was a very good guy.
Does the Zootburger have a big hole in it? The Zootburger looks like a donut. We should make a donut shop called Zoot Donuts. And you can get the donut holes. They're called Zoot holes. Oh, man. We're just, guys, I'm an endless fire hose of good ideas right now. I'm not here to divide. Proceeds to slam landlords like they're only there to screw you. Yeah. I'm not here to divide. Cuomo, never going to talk about you again. Hey, Trump, yeah, bring it on. Bring it on, Trump and all Trump supporters. And, yeah, you landlords, you're evil scum. And, you rich people are coming for you. Shame on you. Like, gosh. People fall for it, man. Jay Jones is still worse, in my honest opinion. No. You don't know what you're talking about.
Who's Jay Jones?
I don't know. Oh yeah, wait, you see, yeah, he's the guy who was elected who was like, hang on, I'll just make sure this is talking about the right person here. Jay Jones.
Jay Jones.
Oh yeah. Hey, this dude actually won. They had I don't know that I saw this because it was all over the place and people were commenting on how messed up it is that this guy's not withdrawing. But yeah, they leaked text messages where he was saying like he hopes his opponent's kids get killed and stuff like this and all this.
Dude, what?
And he didn't drop out. He kept the nomination of his party and won.
Nice. Well done, man.
Based.
Very based.
Hey, it's Defending a Lion. I'll be on with AP, Defending a Lion. That's the guy with the Talmudic dilemma. You should have him on to go over a couple of examples of Muhammad getting the Quran from the Talmud. The Talmud. And yeah, I'll be having him on probably next week again for part 2. So the 2 most destructive ideologies that have ever existed just took over New York City. Fun. Yeah. But if you combine them, they somehow work.
They work beautifully.
And this time. An Islamo-Nazi commie whose motto is no problem too large for government to solve and no concern too small for it to care about. Nothing to worry, eh? Yep. Nothing to worry about at all. And anyone who says otherwise is an Islamophobe. 1, New York, its power, it's yours. Oh boy, dude just rolled hard like 1932. He already started exclusion and targets. Us versus them. How gang-like, yes. It's our power, and we took it from them. We took it from them, and now we will destroy them all. The streets will flow with their blood. Thoughts on Groyper Catholicism? That's a good question for you, AP. You probably love it.
Oh, yeah, I so love it, man. I so love it very, very much. So it recently came up on Twitter again, and people were having a big fuss about it. But so I made a post pointing out that Nick Fuentes is there is no need to say please don't call anybody a Nazi. The guy is obviously a Nazi. He's a fan of Hitler. He's a fan of the Nazis and so on. So
that's true.
That's very, very true. And he also claims to be a Catholic, and he does this whole thing of like of advocating for a Catholic fascist state and all that. The thing is, some people now think that it's Catholicism that is bad. It's not about Catholicism. The Groyper movement, led by Nick Fuentes, tries to present Catholicism as part of their ideology, as in line with their ideology, but it's not. The Catholic Church is very clear on explicitly rejecting the ideas, the ideology that the Groypers are advocating for. So
not if Nick is the new pope.
He is not following the teachings of the Catholic Church at all. And, I clearly say this as a non-Catholic. So we can all see from the documents of the Catholic Church, from the Vatican, since the Second Vatican Council, that any kind of advocacy for fascism or exclusionism, anti-Semitism, and all of that is condemned by the Catholic Church. So Nick Fuentes trying to be this Catholic voice, claiming to follow the Vatican, it's just, it doesn't really line up with the Catholic Church. They're just doing their own thing. They're trying to use Catholicism as this cool, based thing. But I don't think that they actually want to go to any ends with this. I don't believe that Nick Fuentes actually believes that they would be at some point having power and then actually adopting Catholicism as their theology or something like that. He's just using this because Catholicism historically seems very traditional and seems, based. So that's all it's about. Most of these online Groyper Catholics don't have any idea about Catholicism. Most of these online Groyper Catholics aren't even Christians. Just look at their behavior. Look at their responses when you ask them about Christian things. So I wouldn't take that too seriously.
Last ones here. So are Zoot back in style? Yes, they have been. Where you been?
Yeah.
Where you been? Then think Nick is a plant trying to tie us to fascism. No, I think he believes what he's saying.
I think he's a paid gay guy. That's it.
That's possible, too. Hard to tell nowadays. Bet you New York be handing out more CDLs now. Yeah, that's true. All right, man. We covered it all. And now we can wash our hands of Mamdani until the first dumb thing he does.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. We have taken over New York City. Allahu Akbar.
Final thoughts, man?
Those are my final thoughts, man.
Funny, since Muslim Brotherhood is actually fascist.
It is.
Well, yeah. But it's not when someone like Mamdani does it. How do I deal with anti-Semitism at local Ortho church? Ooh. Like every Ortho church in the world. Been to Catholic church too. Also anti-Semitism. Protestants are far superior in that regard and in every other way.
Yeah, Protestants are generally, in many ways, better than the other two. very often. That said, I don't know. I don't know who you're asking. I don't know what kind of answer you want. But
He's asking, how do I deal with it?
I think you will most frequently find that in the Orthodox churches, due to political and ethnic reasons, cultural reasons. I mean, my Orthodox parish that I go to is not like that. In fact, the priest is very clearly outspoken and clearly speaks against anti-Semitism, for example, and mentioned that in a sermon even. So I don't know. I don't really know what to tell you. What do you say, David?
Well, going to come up with the most genius idea ever. Write down your complaints about your church and nail it right to the door in everyone's face. That's how you do it.
It's very funny you would say that because the guy who did that was like one of the biggest anti-Semites.
And someone should have nailed something to his door about that. I'd have totally done that. He'd have been like, "Oh, I nailed this thing to the door," and like then he freaks out and goes off the deep end and been like, "Yeah, I'm nailing this to your door. How's that? How do you like that? How's it feel now? Huh? How's it feel when it's your door?"
Martin Luther was an extreme, insane anti-Semite, and
later he started off cool and thinking, and then nope. I don't know enough about him to like check out like whether he had a personality disorder or something like that. Because think if he thinks, oh, yeah, hey, now they're getting the true gospel, now they'll accept it because not this corrupt version. They'll accept the true gospel. So hey, yeah, guys, quit being mad at Jews. Now they're going to hear the truth, and then we have to burn all their stuff. Like, how'd you go from there to there? Well, they rejected him. So I wonder, like Sam with like the terror of abandonment and so on. But again, I don't know enough about him to see if there's any evidence for anything there.
He did start out with trying to with being against Jew hatred and just suggesting that he can change them, and then he quickly became anti-Jewish and suggested that you should kick out and possibly kill and enslave all the Jews and destroy their worship places and all that. Pretty messed up. So.
Yeah, he left the Catholic Church and somehow turned into Nick Fuentes.
See, that's what happens. Leave the Catholic Church.
That's what happens.
You leave the Catholic Church,
you become
and
Nick
then
Fuentes.
you become a Nazi.
Rabbi Tovia Singer was talking about a splintered group from Catholic after World War II rejecting John Paul. Mel Gibson and George Farmer ascribed to this splintered group of Catholics.
Yeah, he was talking about Kenneth Owens. Kenneth Owens is part of a sede vacantist Catholic community that rejects.
You just made up that word.
That rejects the Pope as illegitimate and considers the seat of the Vatican empty.
It's empty, so it's not like, we got this other Pope.
Yeah, no, they consider it empty. They literally depict the so there's a symbol of the Vatican, right? Which normally has a crown on top of it. They depict that whole symbol, but without the without the crown. So they consider the seat actually empty since some pope. So they reject the popes as heretics and do not accept their position. If
the seat is empty, can anyone just walk up in there and
no
take a seat? No.
No.
That's no.
So she would be considered a heretic by the Catholic Church for her position. But I think she's not very explicit about it in public. That said, I just need to quickly take a second and just take a shot at Rabbi Tovia Singer. Completely irrelevant. But I would urge everyone to never listen to Rabbi Tovia Singer about a single thing.
What if he says something you totally agree with?
Still, don't listen to him.
No comment there, but thank you. I'm working on exposing Islam to my family soon with my writings on Islam. Thanks to David and Raymond Ibrahim. Also, I'm so happy to see AP now in comparison to 2 years ago on an old live when he was a total, terrible, awful loser. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. Awesome to hear with your family. The splintered group might really exist. Ultra-conservative Catholics that rejects current Pope and anti-Semites and anti-Israel. Interesting theory.
Yeah, that's true.
You agree?
I mean, it's not a speculation. You can look it up. It's called sedevacantism. That is actually a movement that is considered heretical, but that is a kind of large-ish movement within Catholicism.
Now, if you want something really creepy, look up sedevacantism. Spell it backwards, and then see what happens.
Ooh.
Hey, AP.
What?
All right, man. Final thoughts. You said some gibberish earlier. Anything? What's going on? What's the plan? What's the plan for the next couple of days, leading up to the greatest live stream in history, which will be this Sunday? But what's going on before then?
Yeah, I think we're going to be live tomorrow, ain't we? Should be live tomorrow, and then we're going to be live again on Saturday. Going to go through a few things, just regular live streams. Take it slow, take it easy, and then on Sunday,
D-Day.
On Sunday.
Everything happens on Sunday, ladies and gentlemen.
On Sunday. So some people asked why that thing about Tovia Singer. I would just say, I think Tovia Singer is a fraud. I think he's a liar. And I think that Jews should be the first to reject somebody like him, because he's I actually sincerely think that he has blood on his hands, and he puts Jews in danger by sweet talking the Muslims who want to kill them all, and instead attacking Christians and Christianity. He's terrible. I tried talking to him personally. I tried inviting him and talking to him publicly. I have tried multiple channels now. I have many mutual friends now with Tovia Singer. I tried it in many ways, and he has consistently rejected it.
Hold up. Just contact him. Just contact him as a jihadi and say, Hi, Rabbi Tovia Singer. I hate the Christians. I want to destroy all the Christians. Can we work together? Can you be with me on my show?
Yeah. So I tried talking to him, but it doesn't work. So I'll just say it openly. He's a liar. He will use any chance he can to talk trash about Christians and Christianity, but then we'll actually come together with the Islamists, who openly say that they are for the death penalty for apostates, who openly say that they are for taking over the countries of the disbelievers, who openly say that they are for all these disgusting things, and he will sit down with them and will tell them how great Islam is. I mean, look it up. He recently sat down with the Orthodox Muslim. He actually sat down with him and told him about how Judaism has a lot of respect for Islam and Jews have lots of respect for Muslims and all that. He loves to sit down with those
that
very
respect
people,
is not reciprocated.
Yes, he sits down with those Islamists and basically licks their bottoms for them, not their balls, and is then treated by them the way Muhammad was treated by the Al-Zud, and is also contributing to the blindness on behalf of Jews to those Muslims who believe that the Jews should be suppressed and killed. He is actually endangering Jews everywhere. And people should be aware of that. And people should be shunning him and rejecting him and calling him out for that. He's a fraud and a liar. That's what he is.
It is pretty
So,
screwed. It is pretty screwed up if he's consistently wants to be all buddy with an ideology that wants to wipe out Jews, as if that's going to have some positive outcome.
I mean, his logic is basically, the Christians, they want to, the Christians endanger us because they want to convert us and thereby endanger our eternal state, whereas the Muslims only want to kill us. So, all right then.
All right. Little Joseph said, "I'm pretty confident Nick Fuentes has something called schizotypal personality disorder." Well, he's got something. Zohran claims Modi wiped out Muslims, but the riot killed thousands and millions still live there. He's totally in a dream world. Absurd, so unreal.
Powerful.
But he really loves the Holy Land 5. All right, everyone. Catch you tomorrow on AP's channel, in theory, unless he changes his mind at the last second, as he occasionally does.
Alhamdulillah.
But we'll see.
Allahu